Listen closely, and I mean really lean into the cold, vibrating, and unyielding frequency of this transmission. Because in the year 2026, the global machine has meticulously and malevolently convinced the average man that to be connected is to be powerful. But Andrew is here to tell you that in the year 2026, your constant, shivering, and desperate connectivity is actually your greatest and most lethal leak of personal power. They want you accessible to everyone at all times of the day and night. They want you reacting like a mindless puppet to every insignificant, fleeting opinion on a screen. And they want your vital life energy scattered across 1,000 meaningless social interactions that leave you spiritually hollow and mentally exhausted. They have successfully turned friendship into a cheap, disposable digital commodity and presence into a pathetic, scripted performance for the faceless, unthinking masses who don't even know your name. But today, Andrew is swinging wide the heavy, soundproofed, and reinforced iron doors of the 82nd vault of the Edge archives, the Silence Protocol. We are decoding the lethal and calculated social distance maintained by John Wayne, a man who understood deeply and instinctively that his value was directly proportional to his unavailability. In the year 2026, being liked by the herd is a psychological trap designed specifically for servants and plebeians who crave validation. But being respected is the natural, quiet, and terrifying state of the sovereign man who stands alone. Doctor, record this opening protocol for the permanent archives of the year 2026. A man who is everywhere, talking to everyone, and laughing at every joke, is eventually nowhere of importance and has no center of gravity. We are studying the wall of silence today, the godlike ability to move through a crowded, noisy room without letting the filth and the distractions of the world touch your internal, sacred sanctuary. Stand back with me, partner, because the frontier doesn't belong to the man with the loudest voice or the most followers. It belongs to the man who knows exactly when to stop talking and let the world wonder, in fear and curiosity, about his next move until it is far too late for them to stop the momentum of his destiny. Analyze the psychology of the sovereign wall with me with a cold, detached, surgical, and unblinking eye, because in the year 2026, the global system is absolutely terrified of a man it cannot influence, shame, or manipulate through social pressure and collective expectation. Think about John Wayne's colossal, mountain-like presence on the silver screen. He didn't seek approval from the weak or the indecisive. He didn't explain his complex and heavy motives to the unworthy, and he never, ever felt the desperate, modern need to fill a sacred, powerful silence with useless, distracting, and empty chatter. He maintained a physical, emotional, and spiritual distance that commanded immediate respect without him ever having to say a single, solitary word. We are decoding the fortress of privacy today. In the year 2026, the machine uses transparency, inclusivity, and openness as psychological mining tools to strip you of your mystery and your lethal, unpredictable edge. But the Duke knew that mystery isn't just a character trait. It is a weapon of absolute and total dominance. Doctor, examine the Duke's private records on controlled exposure. Look at how he dictated with iron discipline exactly who had access to the inner workings of his mind and who was kept firmly, permanently outside the gates of his trust. In the year 2026, your ability to say a flat, unemotional no to a social invitation, a digital distraction, or a request for your attention is your formal, signed declaration of independence. When you stop trying to be understood by people who don't matter, you regain a massive, explosive amount of psychological ammunition that you can use for your own mission. The frontier was built by men who were perfectly comfortable in their own company and didn't need a crowd of onlookers to validate their existence or their worth. Never let the shallow social expectations of the year 2026 bridge the gap to your inner circle. You are the architect of your own distance, and until you master that distance, you are just another piece of the machine's social inventory to be sold to the highest bidder in the attention economy. In the third and most strategically devastating layer of the 82nd protocol, we address the tactical silence. You see, in the year 2026, Information is a currency that is rapidly losing its value because there is simply too much of it being broadcasted every second. Everyone is oversharing their meals, their thoughts, their location, and over-explaining their every failure. But the sovereign man knows a deeper truth. The less people know about your next move, the more powerful, inevitable, and devastating that move becomes when it finally lands on the world. We are decoding the black box strategy today. In the year 2026, the machine wants you to be predictable. It wants your data, your real-time location, and your internal thoughts shared constantly, so it can anticipate your rebellion and neutralize your impact before you even act. But the Duke was a black box of intentionality. You saw the action, you felt the heavy impact, but you never saw the gears turning or the sweat behind the eyes. Doctor, record this for the permanent edge archives of the frontier. A man who reveals his entire strategy to the world has already lost the battle before the first shot is even fired. In the year 2026, you must learn the high art of the social ghost. You must be able to vanish from the digital noise, disconnect the trackers, and reappear only when you have something of monumental substance to deliver to the world. Most of what you say in a typical day is just white noise for the machine to process and categorize. Cut the wire. Shut the door. Lock the gate. When you finally speak, let it be like a sudden thunderclap in a quiet, sleeping valley. Rare, powerful, and absolutely impossible to ignore. This is how you reclaim your status as a figure of authority and weight. You don't get respect by being relatable or available. You get respect by being exceptional, competent, and enigmatically distant from the trivialities of the masses. Analyze the lethal nature of the sovereign exile with me, because in the year 2026, being alone is seen as a sign of weakness or social failure. But on the true frontier, it was the ultimate and most honest test of a man's character. Most men today are utterly terrified of silence because in that silence, they are forced to face the hollow, echoing reality of who they have actually become under the machine's relentless influence. They need the noise to drown out the void. But John Wayne didn't fear the quiet. He owned it, he inhabited it, and he used it to sharpen his soul. We are decoding the internal sanctuary today. Doctor, examine the Duke's personal and rugged philosophy on solitude. He understood that a man's true strength is forged in the dark, silent moments when no one is watching, when there are no cameras, and when there is no applause. In the year 2026, the system wants you to be a hyper-connected social animal, because animals are easy to herd, easy to frighten, and easy to lead to the slaughter. But a sovereign man is a lone wolf when the mission requires it. He doesn't need the warmth of the pack or the constant chatter of the herd to feel secure in his skin. There is a specific, ancient kind of internal alchemy that happens when you stop seeking external validation from people you don't even like. Your focus sharpens into a needle, your resolve hardens into tempered steel, and your goals become terrifyingly clear. The more you disconnect from the trivial social games, the politics, and the gossip of the year 2026, the more you connect with your true, primordial purpose. You must be willing to be the outsider if the inside is nothing but a golden cage. The Duke was often the man standing apart from the town's celebration, the one who rode in, did the job that no one else could do, and rode back out into the night without needing a parade or a thank you note. In the digital age, this is your only defense against the constant, subtle erosion of your identity by the collective mind. You must create a space where the machine's signals simply cannot reach you. Only in that silence can you finally hear your own voice. We are closing this noise-canceling, wall-building, and strategically silent 80-second chapter of the Edge Archives with a final proclamation of social sovereignty. Look at your life in the year 2026 with total honesty. Count the thousands of hours you have wasted trying to please people who don't even respect you, and trying to fit into a system that only wants to exploit your need for belonging. You have adopted the silence protocol today, and you are finally starting to realize that your unavailability is your greatest asset and your most powerful negotiation tool. John Wayne's final and most enduring lesson for us in this chapter is this: a man's true dignity is found in the things he chooses not to say, the jokes he chooses not to laugh at, and the places he chooses not to go. Don't seek the shallow, fleeting comfort of being included in a world that is rapidly losing its soul and its direction. Build your internal wall, lock your heavy iron gate, and find the raw power that only comes from total self-reliance and social distance. This is Andrew, signing off from the 82nd Vault of the Edge Archives, where we value the heavy, meaningful silence of the open desert over the frantic, meaningless chatter of the modern city. The world out there is going to keep screaming for your attention. The machine is going to keep pinging your pocket with useless updates. But the sovereign man has already walked out of the room and closed the door. He is already miles away, standing in the profound quiet of his own making, watching the stars and planning his next monumental move in absolute, lethal, and beautiful silence. Go out there today and reclaim your distance from the noise. Shut your mouth. Close your circle. Find your sanctuary. Stay rugged. Stay distant. Stay completely, unapologetically sovereign in your silence until the world has no choice but to stop and listen when you finally decide to speak. Andrew out.